Right, I'm here inside Intramuros, which is Metro Manila. I've just managed to scramble my way into, well, let's start at the beginning. I've just been to the visa office and I've submitted my documents. The system's changed. I mean, I went in there, I was really shocked. The whole thing is just completely turned upside down. Obviously, it's new, the process they've got, and it'll take a while to settle in, but Jesus, it does look chaotic at the moment. People running around and basically there's no real direction as to where you're supposed to go initially. And you're kind of like having to keep going to ask everyone in different cabooses what you need to do. No clear sign. So I've just come to this shop actually. I'm going to mention I came to this shop because it helped me to just get out of a problem I had. Let me explain. When I arrived here, I kind of like, well, I brought enough money. I brought an extra 1,500 for the purpose of being ready just in case prices are changed. And boy, was I surprised. Actually, I'm in a forecourt area here kind of thing. And what I mean by that is like, I paid for my last 6 months visa and stroke ACR card, alien registration card. I ended up paying about 10,200, right? Now here's a really wicked way that they're getting more money out of you. You can have an option, well, they say it's an option, but they don't actually give you that you can actually get what's called a rapid response, the express service, which is another 3,500 for them to process it. They give you charge for just being in that queue of the express service. Then they also say you have to pay for the certification of having that service given to you. Then you also have to pay for someone to deal with it. So totally the whole thing is an extra 3,500 for this express service. Okay, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind doing that, because if you're there, you kind of want to get it done an hour to 2 hours max later. It's in your hand and you're done. But so I went there with an extra 1,100. In other words, nearly 11,100. And when I arrived there and I looked at the figures, so not until after I kind of like looked at the information, they checked my documents and they said, okay, do you want, I said, I don't want the express service. I said, just give me, I'm living local, well, local enough. I just want the service that I can come back and collect it a couple of days from now. Now, he said, yes, okay, shook his head and so on. And then he gave me a document to sign, say, okay, now we're going to proceed with the document, with your information, get it prepared. And not until I kind of got the receipt, he then printed out and I walked away from the desk. I'm looking at it thinking, what the fuck's going on? So I'm looking at the prices, right? And the prices show that it had actually gone up 3,500. So the process I normally had before, which was 10,200, is now gone up to 13,500. What's that, 25% rise? Okay, shocking, right? And also the simple fact that I said to him I didn't want to have that express service, but somehow he said yes, but still proceeded to do it. And once you walk away from the system there, you take it back in the queue and argue this out. It's just a joke. I'm sure it'll end up being a long, disastrous time, and I didn't want to spend any more time. It's packed in there. So, what did I do? They give you this documentation saying, okay, you can now go and collect it from this window, and you have to pay at the window, and the rest. And I sat down and thought, fucking hell, what have I got? I actually bought 11,500, and now I'm supposed to find another 1,900 to finish this thing. Right, so I have money in my GCash, but there's no system in that area of the immigration center that allows you to go and draw money from GCash. They don't have that system, which is stupid. It's not. Why not have a small bank in there that people can draw money from the ATM? There's none of that. So I'm thinking to myself, what do I do now? That means I've got to go and draw money unlimitedly from the UK and transfer it as a cash transfer to a Palawan shop or Cebuana or any of the other exchange services over here. And here's the other thing. It's one step after another. It seems to be one stupid little thing after another, right? I come out thinking, okay, Chris, don't panic. Keep calm, because when I keep calm, I get things done. I can rationalize like men do. Men, we don't get emotionally stupid. Well, guys of quality and value, right? Stoic men. So anyway, I came out. I said, okay, let's just wander down the streets, ask a few security guards where shop I can go to do this Tijuana. And they're all saying, I don't know, it's probably a kilometer away. And so nobody really knew. So I came out thinking, okay, first of all, let's just find a local shopping mall. And there's a tiny one around there. I walked in there. And as I walked in there, right in front of me, I saw a Palawan shop. For some reason, nobody else seemed to know it was there, but I did. By sheer luck walking into this place. So I walked in there and I thought, great. Now, here's another step in the rather complicated, stupid situation. My data on my phone, I use Globe and I have Smart. No, Smart's not working. Globe is working. But when I try to connect it to my second phone, this is an Apple phone, I've got an old Android, which works fine for what I need to, because everything to do with the UK is on there. If I delete apps and stuff, God knows what the fuck's going to happen. I can end up with some problems not having access to my money back in the UK banks. So anyway, normally you can do like a hotspot from one phone to another. I hotspot to the phone, it's saying, oh, it's connected, but without internet. I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me? Normally this thing works. Today it doesn't want to work. The one day something's going a bit tits up, right? And I'm running around and it's busy and hot day, it doesn't want to work. So I come out of the building and I'm trying again. It still won't connect. Kept saying, connect without internet. For fuck's sake. So I went back into the place and I'm walking around. I went to some security guards. I said, look, I've got to push all the buttons now. I said, guys, here's my situation. As you can see, I've got two phones. One of the phones actually working on Globe. It says it's connected. I showed him the connection showing. And I looked at my Android phone and I said, look, see, it says it's connected, but it's not allowing me to connect. It's not allowing an internet connection that's live. Can you help me? Is there an internet Wi-Fi here I can log on to? They all look and say, not really. I said, come on, man, this is really serious. I need to get a couple of thousands out. And I need to get it from that Palawan shop there. So I need to transfer cash from the UK to here. Help me out. And he looked at me and says, wait a minute. He went off. And he got some number, he typed it into his phone, maybe his own local Wi-Fi for the area, that's probably private. And then he says, okay, scan this. So he scanned my code for me, boom, and I was online. So I'm online, I'm sitting there. He says, I said, look, man, don't switch it off until I'm finished there and I tell you it's all complete. He says, okay, no problem. Anyway, so I'm sitting down, I'm trying to log on to my NatWest Bank and Remitly, they won't work. I don't know why, maybe the internet there is shit or something. But it was spinning and spinning, so I've cleaned the phone with I've done a quick, what do you call it, like space cleaner and everything else to do with cleaning, optimization of the phone. I did that. Finally, it started to work. After booting in and out of NatWest app and then Remitly app, it starts to work. After like 15 minutes of screwing about with all this shit, I get onto Remitly, I transfer the money. Okay, it says the money's arrived. They arrive like that instantly. I can go to any Palawan, any of these exchange shops now listed and collect my cash. I go to the Palawan shop I walked into in this little mall. Guess what? They have a system that's broken. The system is down. I mean, how much more coincidentally stupid is this? So I found the shop. I had problems with the internet. I got the internet working. I transferred the money. I walked to the Palawan shop. They said, oh no, the system's down. We can't do it. We don't know when it's going to be up. It's like, things seem to happen in threes with me. And I'm hoping that this is the fucking last of it. Anyway, so I thought, is there anywhere else? And they said, if you walk down there, you look around. And nobody seemed to know. So I came out, and this is intramuros. This is where all the universities are and all this stuff. But can I find a Cebuana or one of these exchange places? They said no. Scanning on Google, the nearest one's about 2 kilometers away. I don't have any change left to me to give a ride or something. Anyway, I'm thinking also if the system's down, I could go to another place, same problem, which is 2 kilometers away. So I thought, I went into Jollibee shop. I thought, I wasn't going to buy something. I said, Chris, just chill out, sit down, rationalize, come to terms with the situation, and then make a plan. So I thought, fuck it, right. I got a banana I brought with me, and I got a bottle of juice, I'm drinking it. So I finally thought, okay, so what's my options? My options are, I know I've got 9 grand on my Gcash. I now know that unless I go out driving around all over the place by taxi to try and find another Cebuana. Doesn't guarantee I'm going to get one without a system being down. Because yesterday there was a system down where I live as well. So maybe this is something going on after the storm. The storm's probably creating issues. Fine. So anyway, it came to me. I thought, I remember seeing in some of the other islands that you can have a Gcash in and a Gcash out shop. In other words, let me explain. You can go to some shops. They get paid. You pay them a commission, right? I think it's like 20 pesos, 15 pesos per transaction or per thousand. Now, I remember seeing somebody trying to do that in one of the islands, that you can go and say, hey, can I pay you Gcash money and you give me cash, hard cash? And I thought, oh yeah, let's try that. So I'm thinking, fuck, where do I go? So I thought the only place I can go is like a market around there, or find another small shop that probably does drinks and small snacks and stuff. They might be likely to run that system. And I walked up to a market guy and I said, do you do that? He says, no. I said, so where do I go for this to get some money out? He says, if you walk around the corner there, he said, just walk along, you'll see shops there, just go and ask them. I said, okay, right. Lucky enough, I came around, and in this spot here where I am, there's a shop on the corner there, right? Yeah, they do it. But when I went there, I thought, I can't see this happening. It looks a bit kind of like people just struggling to do their own stuff there. What chance is that? I went there and I said, look, I'm wanting to get some money out of my Gcash account, and I need to get 2,000 out. Is there? I didn't ask her, does your shop do it? I said, is there a shop around there that does that? She goes, well, we do it. I thought, oh, fucking hell. My chin dropped on the floor. I thought, thank God for that. Somewhere I can get this done without strolling around the streets all day. So she said, wow. I said, so what's your cost then? She said, oh. She said, how much you want? I said, well, 2,000. She said, okay, that's 50 pesos. I'll give you that for 50 pesos. So, okay, that's like 25 per thousand, which is pretty all right. So anyway, I said, great, so let's just do it. So I ended up paying her the 50 pesos as well as the 2,000 on my Gcash. She gave me 2,000. I'm all rock and roll, ready to go. So man, that was something. So now I'm going to go back to the immigration center, because I thought I'd sit down now. It's 12 o'clock midday. I was there since 10 o'clock. I'm just going to chill out for a little fucking while. What's the rush? I know I got an express service, but I'm paid for that. Fuck it. So I'm going to sit down here for a while. In about 20 minutes, I'll go back into the rush and the melee of things, and lots of people in there. It's packed than I've ever seen. So I'm going to go there in 10-15 minutes, go to the desk, pay my money, and hang around for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then get my documentation, everything back. So guys, in the Philippines, I've noticed this. Doesn't matter whether it's the big cities or the provinces. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing goes to plan. You've got to walk around with the idea. Always be prepared to have more than you need and be ready for changes. If you're just hanging on a shoestring and hoping you're going to go from place to place to place without problems, you're a fucking dreamer, right? So basically, always go with an alternative, or with a, shall we say, a backup plan, a contingency. It's super important. And I found this out now. I did this, I think, like about a year ago. I was in Bohol or something, and I had the problem where I had money, but I then had to have it on the other phone. I had this kind of similar problem. But this one here in Manila is shocking. But the prices for visas now has jumped about 25%. You think, right? 10,200 to 13,500. That's a big jump. And they see how many more people are coming here, so they've ramped the prices up. The same process as paid for before, but they've ramped the prices up. It's a volume thing. Anyway, that's enough for now. I better get back to the visa center and get this money done and put it down as another experience. Not a good or bad, just an experience. But being rational, not panicking, and then look at your options, ask around, ask people. You will always find a means, because there's always a means to applying and finding a resolve. Okay guys, Chris here, Miller.